Have you ever been so angry that you felt like you might explode? What if I told you that there's an ancient lesson about anger that could change the way you react to those intense moments? Imagine this: a powerful man filled with rage, standing face to face with a figure of unimaginable calm. How do you think he reacts when he faces the Buddha's unshakable peace? But what if I told you that in this moment of anger, the Buddha teaches not just one, but 3 timeless lessons that could completely transform your approach to life's challenges? In the golden age of ancient India, when spiritual seekers roamed from place to place, seeking enlightenment, the Buddha was not just a distant figure of reverence hidden away in temples. No, he walked among the people, a living beacon of wisdom and compassion. His teachings were not reserved only for monks cloistered in monasteries. They were meant for everyone, merchants weighed down by the pressures of their daily business, parents lying awake at night filled with worry for their children, and even young men consumed by fiery rage. The Buddha's wisdom was practical, grounding, and universal, touching all who sought relief from their inner turmoil. One serene afternoon, under the shade of a sprawling banyan tree, the Buddha sat surrounded by eager disciples and villages, all awaiting his words. The air was heavy with the fragrance of blooming lotuses, the rustling of leaves in the wind, and a sense of peace that seemed to settle over the group like a warm blanket. But suddenly, the calm was shattered by the forceful presence of a man who stormed into the gathering. His face was twisted with fury, his body trembling with unrestrained anger. With a fierce scowl, he pointed a trembling finger at the Buddha and spat venomous words in his direction. You are a fraud," the man yelled, his voice dripping with disdain. "All these fools call you enlightened, but I see the truth. You are nothing more than a small-time con artist, preying on weak minds." The disciples of the Buddha were ready to intervene, but the Buddha sat unflinching, his gaze calm and unwavering. He watched the man with the kind of attention one might give to a storm, respecting its power, but utterly unafraid of its noise. As the man paused for breath, the Buddha gently asked, "If you brought me the basket of rotten fruits and I refused to take it, where would that fruit remain?" The man scowled and, with a huff, retorted, "With me, obviously." The Buddha nodded slowly, his calm presence unwavering. "Exactly," he said, "just like your anger right now." In that instant, something within the man shifted. He had expected to face a battle, a war of words, a heated argument, but instead, he was met with a calmness that seemed impenetrable, unbreakable. Buddha continued, explaining that every insult, every worry, every fear thrown at us is like a gift being offered, and just like any gift, we have the power to refuse it. You hold the power to say, "No thank you," the moment you refuse to accept negativity. It stays with the giver instead of poisoning your heart. The Buddha taught, and in that profound exchange, the Buddha revealed 3 timeless lessons that are as powerful today as they were thousands of years ago. The first lesson was about the unaccepted gift. It's the realization that we always have a choice when someone hurls negativity or insults at us. Just like rejecting a physical gift, We can choose to refuse to internalize it. The second lesson was the burning coal metaphor. Buddha explained that holding onto anger is like clutching a red-hot ember, intending to throw it at someone else. But long before it reaches its target, it burns the one who holds it. Many of us carry grudges and anger for years, not realizing that the true harm is done to ourselves. The third lesson came from the very banyan tree under which they sat. The tree, strong and unwavering, offered shade and fruit to all who came, even to the woodcutter who came to chop its branches. Buddha urged his followers to be like the banyan tree, resilient, grounded in kindness, and generous, even when faced with hostility. And as if to drive the lesson home, Buddha picked up a pebble from a nearby pond and dropped it into the water. The ripples distorted the reflection of the sky, and he explained, our minds work the same way. These three lessons, refusing the unaccepted gift, the burning coal, and the banyan tree's resilience, are not just ancient wisdom, they are life-changing insights for today. But the Buddha's teachings don't end here. There's so much more to uncover, and in the next part, we'll explore even deeper lessons that remain as relevant as ever. Intro. We've just explored 3 profound lessons taught by the Buddha about how to face negative emotions. But these lessons don't end there. They continue to offer immense strength when applied to our daily lives. Every angry thought, every anxious worry is like a pebble tossed into the stillness of our consciousness, disturbing our natural clarity. But if we allow the ripples to settle, our minds return to their original state, calm, clear, and undisturbed. The scene before us shows a man standing, stunned and silent, tears streaming down his face. For the first time in his life, he understood that true strength wasn't about winning arguments or suppressing emotions. It was about mastering them. He had spent his whole life believing that power came from domination, from overpowering others. But now, under the Buddha's gaze, he realized that true freedom came from letting go. These teachings are not just meaningful at that time, but are still of great value to us today. In the world we live in, a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, we can choose not to accept every negative thought that comes our way. We can recognize that anger is just a fire that burns us first. And we can learn from the banyan tree, which stands firm despite the winds and storms, offering shade even to those who don't deserve it. So, the next time anxiety whispers in your ear that the worst will happen, or anger urges you to react immediately, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this the truth or just a ripple? If we wait for the waters to still, we might find that what we feared was never as real as it seemed. Buddha's wisdom endures because it speaks to the universal human experience, our struggles with fear, our battles with anger, and a deep longing for peace. The question still remains with us. Will we continue to clutch the burning coal? Or will we let it go? Will we disturb the pond? Or let it reflect the sky? The answers to these questions not only shape moments, but also entire lifetimes. If this video inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more motivation, and share it with someone who could use a boost today. Until next time, stay motivated. Stay inspired and keep shining. See you in the next video.